needles are shorter, all needles point up. Okay, so you identify them, and it's been a long time since I taught 6th grade science. So I used to be able to identify, I could tell you the different ways to identify them.
So you don't know what this one's called,
No.
but this is characterized by the needles facing up.
Okay, notice if you look at this, they're only on one side. See, it's like you kind of lift their tail, you know.
Thanks, old guy. And where was the one that you just told me about?
There's lodgepole pines. Lodgepole pines are the predominant pine. They're the dominant species of this. They're plant species. They're the dominant one. It's really kind of defines.
And you'll show us one of those when you see one.
I'm looking around here. I'm not seeing one.
Okay.
Right now.
Well, you'll keep an eye out.
Yeah.
We'll tune into that one later.
Even then. Okay. Now notice now here. This is a pointier needle. Last one. Again, I can't identify them. They're all around, but these are short needles compared to the stuff we have. These are all dinky needles compared to anything we've got in Florida. Our short needle pines are like here, and the long needle pines are 8 inches and plus.
Wow. It's neat that God made so many different kinds of pine trees.
If you zoom in, you can see how the needles are in groups, like groups of 5. I believe that's what he said. But, you can, if you look at them, you can see how there's almost a rhythm to them in terms of the patterns, as opposed to the one right below them. Everything's just spread out. They're just they're just evenly spread apart from one another. So good.
Yeah, there's 2 different pines right next to each other with 2 different types of leaves.
There's lots of pines. These are little boy pine cones.
Which one?
Those things.
These are little boy pine cones?
Those are little boy pine cones, okay?
All right.
Those little boy pine cones are going to release pollen for the little girl pine cones.
So, show me the little girl pine cone. That's the little girl pine cone.
What we think of pine cones are actually the female pine cones, okay?
Ooh.
These are the pistillate pine cones. Those are staminite pine cones. These are the guys that produce pollen, and they just release it in huge quantities. Okay. Then you've got the branch over here that the huge quantities just. Watch it. Let me see if I can do it. Watch it again. Just get it just like that.
Oh wow! Look at all that pollen.
Okay. You saw the pollen fall off. Okay. So that pollen floats. And then it floats in here, and it fertilizes the, it's not a seed yet. It fertilizes the cone, which will turn into a seed.
Awesome.
Okay? And then they eventually they open, and the seeds twirl down, which then, the advantage is it helps them float further, plus the fact that things like squirrels and other little rodentia like that, they like these guys, so they'll take them someplace and they'll eat them, and they'll rip all the little parts apart. They'll eat them, and they'll eat the seeds, which of course is a food, but they're not going to eat all the seeds. They're going to drop some in the process, okay? So that helps spread them. It's part of the mechanism that God's put in there so you can spread the seeds, okay? And all around here, they talk about this when, we were listening to that little video this morning, and the guy was talking about different ways to spread seeds and help seeds. Like a lot of cones. A lot of cones are fire activated. They only open and release their seeds when they've had heat, which they were talking about, particularly in this area, the lodgepole pine, because with the lodgepole pine, because a certain number of them will not release their seeds unless there's fire. So if fire comes through, these other things get wiped out. The seeds of the lodgepole pine are released. Okay, so they're one of the early successors in the stage of succession. Okay, so they get to kind of step in before the other trees. They kind of, hey baby, we want to kick you behind. Out of here, buddy, because we just took this over and you're a loser. They kick you behind. Well, they're not thinking that, but it's the way God made them.
That's the way God made it. My physics teacher, dear Mr. Caldwell, and that's the way God made it.